What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing today? Today is election day, and we're not going to be talking about that today, but today is election day. Go vote. Um, no, well, polls are closed now, but um, if
Hopefully
you
you did
voted,
vote.
yeah, hopefully you did vote. I would regularly say go vote, but it's done and over with. So we're waiting for results right now. We're not going to talk too much about that, but I just want to welcome everybody here to the Sports Lounge Media and the Sports Lounge podcast with Mike, Mark, and Dupree. We're here ready to talk about sports. We do talk all things sports, but today we're going to be talking about the NFL. And the Sports Lounge is powered by the Mogul brand. And so I'm excited to hand this over to my co-host, Mark. Let him know what's up with our sponsors.
Hey, don't forget we are sponsored by, of course, we have our local sportswear store, number one sports fan located in Tulare, Visalia, and Hanford. And hey, if you are local, I will say this: I don't like the Dodgers. We all know this, but
Oh
they
my God.
got all the brand new, fresh Dodger World Series champion gear. So on that, I will say congratulations to the Dodgers. They got
Thank
all
you.
the new gears. You
Yes,
know,
sir.
um, but
Preach.
that's the first one. Second one, of course, we got Cali Built Graphics. They take care of all of our needs when it comes to our shirts, hats, anything like that.
Yep, yep.
The hat that Mikey is wearing, it's actually was made by Western. Of course, we got our shirts, everything like that. So he'll take care of you. Just go see Rigo. And last but not least, of course, we have Brian Martino Construction. Hey, if you guys need anything locally here in the Central Valley in Tulare County, just hit up Brian Martino at Martino Construction at gmail.com. And if you get a full remodel for your kitchen or your bathroom, you're getting $1,000 off. So you want to take care and support local. That's what we got. But on that note, it is now officially time to talk about the NFL.
Let's go. Let's get
Week
it.
9. Week 9.
Yeah.
Week
So
10. Week 10.
you can say we're going into week 10.
Or week 10
I mean,
now. Week 9 was the ending week.
yeah.
Yep.
So so it is official. Half of the NFL season is officially over for the regular season.
Over with. Let's go.
So
Let's,
I'm glad because that means we're just getting back to being closer to baseball season.
oh, Christ. Well,
You
you
know,
were
Yeah,
wrong
no.
all this baseball season, so I don't know if you're really ready for this next baseball
well,
season.
it's not my fault that they had to write a script to give Shohei a dang World Series champion because he couldn't do nothing with the Angels.
Oh, that's what that was?
That's
Dang,
what it was.
then everybody needs money to start writing scripts.
Yeah, they
I
all
guess so.
cheating. They all cheating. He shouldn't be playing. I'll stick to
Oh,
that. He
well,
should be
shoot.
playing.
Oh, well, shoot. We need to get other players out there to start cheating too so they can win.
No,
Right.
you just got to let him gamble. As long as you bring in big revenue like he did, it's someone else's fault. But anyway, enough of that.
Oh, well,
So
we need to get more people to gamble on their sides if they want to win. Whatever it is, they can do the same thing. Let's go.
yeah, but they got to bring in the revenue. That's the big thing. But no, anyway. So on to the NFL, man. Big things that happened. Obviously, today has been the trade deadline.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
there's been some decent amount of trades. Nothing big. I mean, nothing to honestly really talk about. That is very impactful.
Right.
I think it's more impactful to talk about injuries than it is actually the trade deadline. That because that's one of the biggest things. And it's official that the $70 million man, um, back to the chump Prescott, has now probably going to be put on IR because of injuries. I mean, that dude, $70 million for what, 3 wins?
Yep.
I think if
Three
I think it,
wins.
I think each one of us, if we got to start one game, we can get Dallas a 3 wins also, and saved them a crap ton of money. I'm just
Right.
saying. Dupree starts one, I take one, and then Mikey, you take one. I think we can get them 3 wins. I mean, I'm just saying that's how
Pretty
horrible
easily.
Dak has played. Um, but no big games that we've had this last weekend. What was a big game that stood out to you guys? Dupree?
Dupree.
Biggest one, I had to say it. The dang Chiefs again. They lose. They get the win in overtime off the coin flip, and you can already see it in his eyes when they won the coin toss. He just already put his head up like, here we go.
Oh, Baker knew. It's like, okay. I mean, let's be honest though. With that game, it was a hard fought game.
Hmm.
It was for me. A lot of once again 15-11.
Yep.
You know, I'm seriously, I'm
It
getting
showed.
tired of this
It, it,
script.
yeah, it showed that the Chiefs are beatable though.
Oh, 100%. We've seen that multiple weeks.
Yeah.
But the problem is you can't give them. You have to have a 14-point lead.
And you can't give him time. He gave him too much time after that. Once they hit
Yeah.
that timeout.
Um, but no, that was a good game. Mikey, what game did you have?
Yeah, so the Lions and Packers, I heard Packer team. I seen them come back on that one. It was a close game. They lost by 10. That was a big game that I looked at. Um, it should have not honestly the way that we hype up our teams shouldn't have been a close game with the hurt, Love and all the things that they got going on. But that wasn't the biggest one. Obviously, we seen the Commanders. They lost by 5. That was like kind of crazy to try to. They almost lost to the Giants, which is another wake up call. I gotta say, my Philadelphia Eagles, up 22-0, and then all of a sudden we're making fourth down calls that didn't make fourth down calls. We could have kicked the field goal. I understand what Nick Sirianni is trying to do and trying to use that game to in case down the road we need to do a 2-point conversion. But I think that at that particular moment in the second half, we just need to blow them out and win the game. That game should have been like 41-8, honestly. But the biggest surprise, the Panthers, guys. The Panthers won by 1 point against the Saints. Is the Saints season over?
Saints are over. I got no problem
Yeah.
saying that, and I'll say that right now. Saints seasons is done. They for me with what they lost Olave, with that cheap shot, then that was
That was
beyond a cheap shot on that was nasty.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was.
I mean,
I didn't even watch it the second time, to be honest. I watched it that first time live, and I haven't even seen the replay.
yeah,
That
no,
was
that
nasty.
Was bad.
I mean, he straight up had his head just crunched between two helmet to helmets at the same time. I'm just like, I was like, it reminded me of that chimpanzee, with the clapping hands.
Yeah.
I was like, they straight up took helmet to helmet, and and they just done. I wouldn't doubt it if you don't see him miss rest of the season. That was nasty. I actually, for me, the big game was, I do agree with you on the Packers one. Jordan Love has been going through some injuries. Green Bay is dealing with a lot of stuff. But the offseason acquisition of Josh Jacobs has been very fruitful. He's the number 3 running back right now in the league. Number 2 until the bye week, and I got no problem saying it, is Saquon Barkley. And of course, King Henry is sitting at the number 1 spot. They all have been helping their teams win. You have to have a run game, you have to have a pass game, and you got to have a defense. And guess what? All 3 of those teams all have 6 wins minimum. So you've got basically a 750 winning percentage, but yet you got a defense and you got run teams. I think Saquon was probably the biggest acquisition of the offseason for Philly over the King Henry, because I felt it was more fruitful when it comes to Philadelphia. I'm still not a believer in Josh Jacobs, because you don't know which Josh Jacobs is going to show up week in, week out. And so I haven't seen that yet. But for me, the big game, honestly, and I'm going to say it, is the bust of the number 1 draft pick, Caleb Williams.
Oh shoot! Here we go.
I thought we could avoid it, Mike.
Oh my gosh! How do you exit out? Where's the button at? How do you?
Can we turn them off?
They got smoked by 20 against Arizona.
Oh,
it is so bad. It is so bad that in the middle of a play, DJ Moore, me and Mikey were talking about this earlier. DJ Moore literally just said,
Hey, don't put me in that now. Come on.
I'm bringing you in. I'm bringing you in this guy.
Oh,
Hey,
damn.
DJ Moore straight up ran off the field and sat on the sidelines and said, nah, forget this. This dude ain't going to do nothing. I mean,
that's not what I said. That's not what I said.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
We saw Caleb Williams literally. It's like, let's, look, it reminded me of a cat chasing its tail. is what it was. And finally, DJ Moore is going to one side of the field, and Caleb was like, oh, let me go back to the other side.
All right.
DJ Moore is your number one receiver. The last 4 weeks, he's only getting an average of 4 catches a game. I mean, and the balls that are being thrown are absolutely horrible.
Hey, he's going to ask for a trade soon.
Definitely.
But I think DJ Moore...
He's that guy. He's that guy. He wants the ball, so...
Here, we're going to toss up this question, and it's actually a great... Well, it's not showing up. There it is. And I like this one. Is the Saquon play, the 180 backwards hurdle, the best NFL play ever to exist? I'm going to say it's in the top 5.
It's definitely top 5. But there was another one, too, with the Cardinals, too. They had a jump as well.
We've seen some pretty amazing plays. You got to remember...
What are you talking about, man?
Did the Cardinals have a jump, too? The tight end, did he jump over somebody, too?
You're trying to compare that to the Saquon Barkley play, bro?
Barkley straight up juked, backspin, and then did a
reversed it.
I'm like,
bro. backwards, opposite side of the.
I'm not saying it wasn't a great play. I'm just saying which one was good.
It wasn't a great play.
I'm not saying
you're downplaying. You're downplaying Saquon Barkley athleticism, and I find it really disrespectful right now.
No, is it the greatest, best play NFL ever to exist? No, it's not. It's in the top 5, that's for sure. Because you got to remember, Chad Ochocinco had that flip into the end zone, and landed on his feet. You got to remember John Elway in the Super Bowl when he straight up dove in head first and did the spin to get the touchdown. I mean, you got the Bo Jackson running over Brian Bosworth after the Boz was talking smack and just ran right over the middle of his chest. I mean, that's pretty amazing. The fact being that Boz was the number 1 pick that year and he was all hyped up. I mean, so there's a lot of great plays, but I have no problem saying that, yes, the Barkley play.
You've only mentioned one that I think that is better than or just as good as Saquon Barkley so far.
Which one?
The Ochocinco flip.
Well, you're not going to give no respect to
John Elway.
It's not about respect. We're not talking about respect. We're talking about what is the greatest player of all time.
Dude, Elway straight up took the hit at his legs and his head to get spun to score a touchdown in the Super Bowl.
But we've seen that play, though, before.
No. We haven't seen a helicopter.
We've seen hella helicopters. Yeah, Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott got the helicopter last year against the Philadelphia Eagles. Going to go get the touchdown, and we stopped him from getting a touchdown, and he got helicoptered.
But John Elway got the touchdown, and they won the Super Bowl. It makes it worth more.
How does that... Okay, question. Will you ever see that type of play ever again in football?
Yes.
You're going to see Saquon Barkley's play again in football.
I'm gonna say
the only time you're going to see it is if Saquon does it again.
Does see it again. Still going to see it again.
But I'm just saying, you're not going to see that play ever again. And I doubt that people will even try to attempt it because of the injury. And he has a 41 foot vertical.
Inch vertical? I'm going to get that
inch vertical.
I can say that cat can jump 41 feet.
Inch vertical. Right. And he freaking did a backwards hurdle over these dudes.
No.
Like, that gotta be up there. Okay. That's up there, like top 2.
I got no problem saying top 5.
Ochocinco doing that flip. I've seen that one. That one was a good one. That one you probably will never see again.
We've seen it a couple times already. But again, like I said, the Elway helicopter, I'm sorry, man. That's in the top 5. I'm not saying it's better than the Barkley, but it's in the top 5.
Yeah.
The Bo Jackson straight up, trucking Brian Bosworth, who's supposed to be the best defensive player in the NFL, and he just schooled him and just ran over him and ran on his chest. I'm sorry, that right there is in itself. Because Bo has always been a very humble man.
We got another one here.
So we got Elite Monsters. He asks, will anyone beat the Chiefs? My guess is that the Bills will beat them.
I think there's several teams. I think there are several teams that I think. I actually have the Buccaneers beating them if they didn't go into overtime. There was a couple of plays that they had an opportunity. Baker Mayfield didn't execute on. They could have beat them. Again, They stopped them in the beginning to kick 3 points, right? So that was one of the things. That's one of the things that I have mentioned to both of you guys. The only way that you could beat the Patriots with Tom Brady and beat Patrick Mahomes is you got to score touchdowns. It's what the 49ers failed to do in the Super Bowl, and it's anybody that's going to play him is going to fail to do. If you're not scoring touchdowns and you're not up by 14 points against those teams, it's going to be hard to beat the refs and beat that team, period. But if we look at KC's schedule real quick, is they do play a Broncos team that is unpredictable. It's a team that you could lose to, and it's an conference game. In division game. They also got the Bills. They're going to go to Buffalo to play them. That could be a sneaky play. Like he mentioned, the Bills could beat them. You also got the Texans at the end of the year, and you also got the Steelers. So those are a couple of teams. The Chargers. Now that's an unpredictable team as well in conference game. I think the Charger game last time was they lost by 7 points, right? Yeah. And that was a close game. I think the score was 17-10, if I recall. Again, they beat the Raiders by 7 points. It was 20-27. So they have a lot of close games here. It's the matter of scoring the touchdowns is what's all that's going to matter. And I believe that the Bills have the capability of putting a high scoring game up and having Patrick Mahomes fight from behind. You just can't make mistakes. And again, you have to beat him by scoring touchdowns and not scoring field goals. What do you guys got?
Dude, you nailed it dead on the head. You have to have a 14-point lead to beat all 15 players on that offensive side, because when it comes down to it, we've said it week in and week out, and people think we're joking, but I'm being all serious. They got to quit making, they're trying to put Patrick Mahomes, they put him basically in the same exact spotlight as Tom Brady. He's supposed to be untouchable. He's, I saw multiple false starts. I saw multiple holding calls, all in that overtime. And for me, that's where it's like they need to seriously take a look at the officiating. They need to start, if they want to challenge a freaking penalty, they need to allow them to start challenging a penalty with as ridiculous as this is when it comes to what's happening against with the Chiefs whenever they're playing. And so that's the hard part that I have. And I mean, Travis Kelce, he showed up and showed out, 15 catches, 100 yards receiving. DeAndre Hopkins got his first touchdown with the Chiefs. And a lot of respect to him.
And he actually, and to mention that he actually played pretty well, man. And a lot of his catches are pretty good. So I'm actually kind of stoked to see him do well. You know what I mean? He was doing really well with the Texans, and then all of a sudden, kind of fell out. He was with the Cardinals, right, before he went to the Titans, and he didn't do well with either of those teams. He went to the Chiefs, and he's really involved with that offense, obviously with Rice going down. So I'm actually, Mark, you're right. I'm a little excited to see him doing well, although that the Chiefs are winning, and I don't like it. I like to see him come back because he was a good player. He's a decent player.
I liked him for my fantasy team.
Yeah. Hey, as long as you get your points, right?
No, I cut him, so I ain't getting my points.
Oh, dang.
I'm like, that cat wasn't doing nothing. Yeah. No, he wasn't doing nothing in Tennessee. That was killing me. And I'm just like, man.
Right.
But,
anyway. You thought Will Levis was your hero. I mean. You had so much praise about Will Levis.
Hey, I'll take Will Levis over Caleb Williams.
Stop playing. You're playing too much now. Okay, let's get to the next question, bro. I'm about to exit in a minute.
Right.
This dude is tripping.
Uh, top 5, man. Top 5. What do we got? What
Let's go
Dupree?
with
What do you
Dupree.
got?
Yeah. Let's go with Dupree because he always the wild one. He's like, I got the Browns #1. I got the Panthers #2 because I like the Panthers uniforms. You know what I'm saying?
I like to keep everybody on their toes. We
Toes.
change them every week.
Yeah, we do
change
change them every week. You
No,
do.
no, no,
You
no, no,
probably, you
no.
probably got the Dolphins in there.
I don't even got
Right.
The Dolphins are not in there at all.
He's probably got
Okay.
Alabama Clemson side. Fuck Bama.
You're our college guy, so I'm not even gonna do that.
All right, go ahead.
Go ahead, Dupree.
I got the Vikings up there at #1.
Damn it, Dupree. You're already killing me, bro. This is what I'm saying, man. Hey, chat, real quick. Put your top 5 in there. We'll go with you. Go whoever you got to. If you guys got a top 5, let's see if it lines up. Because Dupree tripping right now. He said Minnesota.
I said Minnesota still.
No, not where did Kamala Harris is winning at. I put who is the top 5, bro? Put who is the top 5, bro? Come on, let's be serious right now. Start all over.
Why is it not serious to you?
All right, come
All right,
on.
what do you got?
I still said Vikings #1.
Okay?
Bills are #2.
Bills. Okay.
They're 7-2. Who has beat them yet? They're 7-2. They're right there.
All
Who
right,
beat them
what
yet?
else
They're
you got?
7-2. You just said 2 people beat them.
Yeah, they're still 7-2.
Okay, go ahead. So you got Minnesota, you got Buffalo,
Lions.
you got Lions who's 7-1. Okay, go ahead. 3.
3 is a hard
No,
one.
that was your 3. Who's number 4?
Oh yeah. Ravens.
You got Ravens number 4. Okay. Ravens are 6-3, but go ahead. 4.
Yeah.
And number 5?
Yeah. And number 5, it's kind of a tie because it's Steelers and Eagles when it comes to that one. And Commanders can get in there too because of the way they're playing.
I'm stressing right now. I'm
We're
stressing.
gonna do something real quick on that note. On that note, we're gonna do like Dupree. I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna explain. You're officially muted. All right, Mikey, what do you got?
No, we're going with you next. Let's go.
No. I want to hear yours. What you got?
Okay. All right, bro. Let's go. I'm gonna stay with the KC. No one has beat them, and I know just to be clear, I don't want them to be number 1. I'm still waiting for somebody to beat them, but they are beatable. Okay, we've said, like I mentioned, multiple games that they are beatable, but I got them number 1. I also got Detroit number 2. Detroit has played well, but they're very beatable, and I think in the next couple of weeks you're going to see a change because they're going to get beat. Their schedule is going to get tough, and I got Green Bay beating them the next time. But anyways, just for this week, they're number 2. I got Philly number 3 because of the way that they play and the mistakes that I understand if you see the whole game, you've seen the way that they played. I got them number 3. If they were on all cylinders and didn't make the mistakes by going forth and kicking field goals, and instead of going for 2, just scoring the football and continue playing, I see them winning by 41-8. So I got the number 3 at the style of play and how they've been playing. 0 turnovers too by the Philadelphia Eagles in the month of October, starting off this month with 0 turnovers as well, playing very, very well, high caliber football on both sides of the ball. And that's number 3. Number 4, I'm going to go with Washington. Washington's right behind us until Thursday when we play against them. And then I got Pittsburgh number 5 because of that strong defense that keeps them in the game and they keep winning football games. And we don't know how the hell they're winning these games because it's Mike Tomlin. So that's going to be my top 5 this week only. So you notice I don't have Minnesota in there. You notice that I don't have the I don't have the Ravens in there, but I do have those top as my top 5.
I mean, yeah. Let's see, who do I want to go with? I mean, we can go with some crazy, crap, but no, for reals, I've got Detroit at number 1. I got KC at 2. So even though I agree with what you're saying, Mikey, is both teams are beatable, but I have to give strength of schedule. You know me, I'm a person that looks at all aspects, and so when it comes to strength of schedule, I think Detroit has the notch up because they have better wins. They aren't playing a bunch of nobodies like KC realistically has been. So that's why I got Detroit at 1, KC at 2. Number 3, I actually have Pittsburgh at 3. Okay.
Damn.
And that because as I look back and was kind of looking at things earlier today, the reason being is, like you said, it's that defense. It's Mike Tomlin. You had Justin Fields who was killing it when he was starting. Russ has came in there, and guess what? Russ is playing like he's a Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks quarterback. That's what he's remembering. I should have handed the ball off to Marshawn on that one. He's playing like that, but he's getting those deep.
You realize they lost to the Colts and the Cowboys, right?
I do realize that.
Okay,
I do.
I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, no, I do realize that. And then I have Philly at 4. Because again, I don't think that I would if Philadelphia would have stayed with that blowout like they had in the first half and would have beat them by more than 5, I would have Philly at 3, Pittsburgh at 4. But because of that second half and what they did on screwing up, going back and I did watch some stuff on the second half on the replay. I went to Red Zone and watched the replay. And to me, that second half, it just showed like, okay, well, we're in the lead. We got it. And they basically gave up in the second half. They
didn't give up in the second half. They were trying to do things that they would normally not do during the season because they're preparing for a situational football down the line.
And my answer to that is,
them in their butt.
My answer to that is it's not time to do things like that. You're not secured in at the number 1 seed. You're not undefeated. If you're undefeated and okay, I can handle that, but they're still right there, and you're playing a Washington team coming up this week. And that is actually who I have at number 5. I've got Washington. I do not have a Minnesota team because I think Minnesota is people are figuring them out. Yes. Baltimore is, Baltimore doesn't have any good wins. That's a big thing for me. It's like, it's about that strength of schedule. If you're playing against a bunch of has-beens and nobodies, you can't really count it. I mean, as you see, everyone knows I'm a Packer fan, but guess what? I don't have Green Bay in there. Not because they lost to Detroit. They barely lost to Philadelphia, but they will be.
They will be there. They will. They will be top 5.
They'll be in the top
by the end of the season.
I'm not going to say they're going to be. I don't think so. I still don't think so. I can see top 7 or 8, but I don't see a top 5 because of their defense. The problem that Green Bay has is their defense and their wide receiver core. Jaden Reed has been playing pretty well, but now that they know that he's the go-to guy, so now they're having to rely a lot on Romeo Doubs because Christian Watson, he can't seem to stay uninjured. He's constantly getting hurt. So he was supposed to be the number 1. Now he's like the number 3. And so that's the big catch. And when Romeo Doubs, he got suspended for that game because of his off the field antics, and actually wasn't even off the field, it was in the locker room, and just the attitude that he had, they suspended him for a game. And now all of a sudden he's came and he's been showing up and showing out. But yeah, I think Green Bay is going to finish in the top 7 or 8. I don't see them in the top 5 though, even finishing season. And like I said, Philadelphia rightfully does deserve to be the number 3, but I can't put them at the number 3 because of what happened this last weekend. They have some good wins, but they've got some horrible wins too. And this weekend for me was one of those ones that made it a horrible win. To me, honestly, I would rather lose and they came back. We weren't prepared for it. Than to sit there and be like, hey, we still got the dub. I mean, yeah, I learned what I needed to not do. Well, guess what? You needed to not do any of that because you're not in first place in your division. You're in second.
All right.
So that's where I have, and this weekend, it's going to make or break. If I see Philadelphia, and I'll say it right now, if I see Philadelphia beat Washington by 10 plus points, which I think is possible, I guarantee it. I'll end up taking Philly and Philly will go right into my number 2 spot. Because Kansas City hasn't had anyone, but I have to give them somewhat of a benefit of the doubt for the fact being that they are undefeated. But to me, in all reality, look at Kansas City's wins. Who have they beat? The Raiders? Chargers? Yeah, they squeaked by in overtime against the Bucks. Who else have they really beat? Nobody.
No.
So that's where it's like Kansas City to me right now, in all honesty, if it wasn't for the fact being that they've had multiple games that they've had help from the refs because of non-called penalties.
What would take them to the number 1?
What would what?
He's frozen.
Again, yep. I think he said what would take him to number 1, and I think he's talking about what would take Kansas City to get to number 1. And for me, if I have this question right, for Kansas City to go to number 1, they need to beat somebody that is rightfully in the top 10 in the NFL. You got your laptop right there?
Yeah.
Are you able to look up something real quick?
Yeah.
Look at Kansas City's wins.
I'm looking at
Look at their
right
schedule.
now. I got that on my phone right now. You got Broncos twice that they got to play.
No. What? No. Who have they beat so far this year?
Oh, this year that they beat.
Yeah. So who are they? Who are their 8 wins against? 8 or 9, whatever it is.
It's 8, and you got the Raiders. The last one would be the Buccaneers, the Niners, the Saints, Chargers, Falcons, the Bengals, but barely. The Ravens, but barely. The Bears. Ravens. That was it.
So they beat 2 teams that have an over 500 winning percentage.
Yeah, and the ones they barely beat, they barely beat the Ravens by a touchdown.
Excuse me. Sorry. To me, it's not about how many points you win. It's like, okay, you have to have a decent win.
Right.
The Falcons, that was a good win for them. The Falcons are 6-3 on the season. Tampa Bay was sitting at 500. Now they're one game under 500 right now. Tampa Bay was a tough win. Tampa Bay's on the downside, and they need to do. Luckily, they have a favorable schedule that can help them get into the playoffs. But for me, man, I don't see realistically a top 5 team in Kansas City. So for them to get to number 1, who do they have remaining? I know they play the Bills.
The Broncos. They play the Panthers one more time too. The Raiders, the Chargers, Yeah, they play Broncos twice, the Steelers, and Texas,
Don't they
and the
play
Browns,
Buffalo?
and the Browns too, and Buffalo. I said
Okay.
Bills.
Oh, I thought you said Panthers earlier. Okay, so read that off. So go in order for starting this next week.
Broncos first,
That's a win.
then the Bills,
That's a loss.
then they got the Panthers 24-2. They'll win that one.
That's a win.
Raiders,
That's a win.
Chargers.
I think they can take an L on that one. Or where's it at? KC or LA?
I think it's LA. No, it's an Arrowhead. So they
Okay,
might get
that's a win.
get that one.
No,
They might
that's
get
a win.
those.
That's a win.
Then after that, it's Browns. That's a win. Texans, Steelers, then Broncos again.
So you've got win. So Bills, Steelers,
Mm-hmm.
and Texans are the only three teams. And for me to consider the Chiefs to be the number one team in the NFL, they have to win 2 out of 3 of those games. They will not be in my number one spot until they win 2 out of 3 of those. So basically, I'm flat out saying they are not going to be the number one team. It's going to take them to the second to last week of the NFL season.
Which two do they have to beat for you to say it?
Doesn't matter which two.
No, it doesn't matter. Okay.
Just got to win 2 out of the 3. Because the rest of that schedule is very weak. You know, the Niners was playing, when they played against San Francisco, obviously no McCaffrey, still, a lot of injuries. I mean, and it's been going around, the injury bug's been going around the entire season for the entire NFL. But there's no big wins. And so, like I said, it's going to take, they're going to have to realistically beat the Steelers, the Bills, and the Texans, 2 out of those 3 teams, for me to say, okay, yeah, they're the number one team in the NFL. I don't think with that schedule is probably the weakest schedule you can have as a Super Bowl champion. It is pathetic.
No, I see it too. You basically got easier schedule than the Commanders have with their schedule when it comes to their wins.
Yeah, I mean, you got the bust. As I call him, Caleb the Bust Williams. That cat he's 4-4, which is pathetic.
Mm-hmm.
For the schedule that they had. Well, guess what? He's getting ready to go through a gauntlet, and they're going to say, "Welcome to the NFL, kid." It's exactly what's going to happen. And when they say "Welcome to the NFL," I hope he gets a freaking tar smacked out of him so bad, because his ego, for him to make the comment and the statement after having only 10 completions in an entire game with barely over 100 yards. I did my part on offense. I can't play defense too. In my personal opinion, you make that comment, I hope the freaking linebacker comes up in practice and just hits you so hard that you're going to miss a couple games, because you want to run your mouth like that in the NFL and say, I can't do this. Kid, you did nothing. This was last week when they lost. It was a close game that they lost, but they still lost. And what happened? He did nothing. Absolutely nothing. It was DeAndre Swift that kept him in the game.
Yep. And off a Hail Mary pass that
exactly.
they already thought they won, because you already saw somebody in the back just like
running his mouth, celebrating, talking crap,
We got
it. Like that's what you get. So for him to come out, I can't play defense too. Well, kid, let's be real. You can play some offense yourself. Stop worrying about painting your nails and wearing your little dresses or skirts or whatever, skirts or whatever you want to call them.
Right.
Be a leader of the team. Stop trying to leave from adversity, and that's what they've done. Caleb Williams is constantly leaving from adversity. That's why he left Oklahoma and went to USC, because it put him in the spotlight. Okay. For me, he's a bust. I don't care if he's going to end up with 5-4 here in the first half of the season. You just lost by 20 to the Cardinals. 20 to
Yeah.
a quarterback who's only 5'7".
And that puts him right there in first place too.
Yeah.
You put the
So
Cardinals in first place.
yeah. So for me, the Bears might as well go home. They're on the verge of, I was watching a report just today. They drafted Mitch Trubisky at number 2. They had their head coach and GM. Guess what? Year 2 came, or year 1. That was year 1. Year 2 came in. They fired both the GM and the head coach. Had to learn a new system. Justin Fields. They have a certain head coach and GM. Year 2 comes along. They fire him. Well, now you got Caleb Williams. You got their manager and GM right now. Guess what? I'm amazed he hasn't been fired yet.
Right.
But he's going to be gone. The problem that Chicago has is they do not know how to nurture and grow quarterbacks because they suck so freaking bad. Instead of saying, "Hey, let's go get a veteran quarterback. Let's raise up one of these young kids." Nope. They try to put him in the spotlight. They take the best option available. Mitch Trubisky was not the best option available at number 2.
Mhm.
He sucked at North Carolina. He's a great backup. He can give you a game or 2. He's not a starter in the NFL. And I've got no problem, and I've said it day in and day out. If you do not come out of the SEC, that is the closest you're going to get to being NFL ready. And that is not just my quote. That is actually also a quote that is very similar to what Derrick Henry said. SEC is going to bring you the closest pace of play to the NFL. These guys aren't ready for it.
Right.
They need to go back to molding these quarterbacks and preparing these quarterbacks. We have now seen 7 starters in multiple different rounds that have now lost their starting jobs. Anthony Richardson just lost his starting job last week. They put Joe Flacco in. Well, Flacco ended up not doing very well, so it's going to be hard to see. Bryce Young has lost his starting job. He now got it back because of injury.
Right.
You're seeing a lot of these quarterbacks because guess what? Trevor Lawrence, he couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. He's been so horrible. He signed that big contract. It's like,
didn't even do anything last year either.
yeah. And so for me, that's where it's like you are investing money into a guy. No, I need to invest money in a veteran quarterback. I need to get somebody that can play in the league. One of the greatest sports movies, in my opinion, of all time is Draft Day with Kevin Costner. And the head coach on there, when he took over that Browns team, he said, "I want a running back. I don't need this. I don't want Bo Callahan. I hate rookie quarterbacks. They aren't ready." Well, guess what, guys? They aren't ready.
Yep.
You've got a couple guys coming out here in a few this next season. Carson Beck. You've got he's one of the big ones. You've got Jalen Milroe. He's another big one. Out of Bama. Obviously, like I said, Beck is out of Georgia. Those are SEC quarterbacks. I don't think they're NFL ready. But I guarantee it, you're going to see those 2 going in the top 15 because you've got to have some type of a veteran you got to have some type of a quarterback. The problem is the teams that are drafting the top 15 never have they've sucked so bad.
They need a quarterback.
They need a quarterback.
Yeah, they had no choice but to pick a quarterback besides picking a wide receiver or a linebacker or anything else. Because they already have defense.
So me personally, I think the Rams did great back in the day when they took Orlando Pace at number 1, and then all of a sudden it was like, look, we got a veteran quarterback in here. Let's get the offensive line, and then they started bringing in a younger quarterback. That was when they brought in Jared Goff, but they had an offensive line that was seasoned up. That's what you got to have. Stop wasting freaking top picks. People talk about Shedeur Sanders. Bust. He is a bust. He's getting hyped up because of who his daddy is. Like I said, Carson Beck, he's had 11 interceptions. 11. That's
He's not
that's
ready.
no,
You're not ready.
no, you're not. I mean, he had 2 back-to-back games with 3 interceptions apiece. He threw 6 picks in 2 games.
All bad.
You know, not reading things. I mean, yes, one of those 6 was a tip ball. But that to me is where there's a problem right now going on in the NFL. They're putting too much emphasis on this quarterback position because they need someone to be the face of the team. Caleb Williams wasn't the face. Bryce Young was the number 1 pick.
He wasn't a
He,
face either.
he's not the best, and he wasn't the best in the draft either.
The only one that seems to be a new face besides Mahomes is Jaden Daniels.
Oh, what a coincidence!
the
LSU
only one.
comes out of the SEC. Interesting.
Right.
My theory stands.
He's one
And,
rookie. He's the
you
one
know,
rookie who's got 7-2, and they haven't seen this in like what, decades, maybe years. that a
Andrew Luck.
rookie has done this.
Andrew Luck was the last time someone had a rookie had a record like this as a starting quarterback.
And then
You
got
know,
injured, and that was the rest of that.
you know, Peyton Manning. You know, now don't get me wrong. Peyton Manning was 3-13 as a rookie, but Peyton Manning didn't have an offensive line. He barely had, they'd barely drafted Marvin Harrison. He was in his second year.
Right.
You know, there's nothing wrong with having a young team, but when you have your star wide receiver so upset that he leaves the field in the middle of a play and goes to the bench, that needs to tell you one of 2 things. Either A, you should have me personally, DJ Moore, if that would have happened and I was a head coach, DJ Moore would not seen the field rest of that game.
Oh no, not at all.
And honestly, I would probably even suspend him without pay for another one because of those antics. That's giving up on your team. And I don't agree with that. But that just shows you how unready Caleb Williams has been in the NFL. I'm not saying he can't be a decent quarterback. I was happy when the Packers drafted Jordan Love. And I do think Jordan Love can be a very good quarterback. But I don't think Jordan Love deserved the contract that he got to make him the face of Green Bay. I don't think he had earned it yet. He had one good season. That was it. Everyone knows your second year in the league as a starter is completely different because look at Brock Purdy.
Mm-hmm.
They struggle. Second year, people have already figured you out. So that's the big thing that you got to look at, and that's where I'm going to stick to saying what I got to say. Like I said, Jordan Love, I think he can be I think honestly he has the capability of being an NFL MVP. He needs some weapons offensively, but I think he has the capability of being an offensive MVP.
He can be if they get the right people.
Exactly. They need to show up, but to me, Caleb Williams is a joke.
So
Caleb Williams should be benched.
Out of their schedule, how many wins do you think the Bears will get now?
What do they got left?
Are they done, or will they actually come back and make something of it? You got
Read off the schedule.
You got Patriots, Packers,
win,
Vikings,
loss,
Lions,
loss,
Niners.
I'm going to give them a loss on that one too.
Vikings,
loss,
Lions again,
loss,
and then Seahawks on December 26th. That's
loss.
The last one. That's the last one before January.
And there's nothing in there, because is there one more week in January?
Well, January 5th is Packers again.
Okay, so that's the last game of the season.
Yeah, that's the last one of the season. So not counting the last game of the season, you have those ones, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 9 games. What do you got?
1-8. 1-8.
1-8.
That's what I'm calling right now. 1-8.
1-8.
You might get a win. You might, see a couple wins, a couple extra wins on a division rival game. But usually Packers, they've been sweeping Chicago. I want to say for the last 7 years straight. It's been ridiculous. Detroit, with the way they're playing, and plus the new acquisition with Zadarius Thomas, gives them some defensive help to help replace. It's not replacing Hutch, but it is adding a little help.
Right.
So I think that's going to help. Minnesota, as long as those guys stay healthy, but I can see them possibly winning 2 division games. But they're not going to split the division. They're going to end up going 2-4 in division. At best. So you're talking about one. I'm calling 1-8, but you might see a 3-6.
3-6.
At best. At best, 3 wins. So
I would say
you're
at least 2.
So you're
I
saying
give them at least
2?
2. Yeah, I'm seeing at least 2, maybe, because I'm thinking that they could do something with the Seahawks. The Patriots should be an easy win. The Patriots should be their easy one.
Yeah.
But everything else is like really up in the air for them to even try to get a win. Lions are not going to get it. The Niners, if they're still injury prone, they could. But that's only the injuries.
Yeah. So for me, that's where, like I said, so you're saying, because what are they? They're 4-4 right now. So
Mhm.
you're saying 6 wins possible. I'm saying 5.
Yeah.
5 to upwards of 7. And you have that roster. I'm sorry. That is a
Right.
Pro Bowl offense. That should be an 11-win team.
It should have been right there. You got everybody that everybody still wanted to play, and more besides like what, one player.
He don't want to play because Miller walked off the field because, like, I'm wide open and he's doing nothing. He just keeps looking like, da, 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 da. So yeah. But no, that's what we got for tonight, guys. Appreciate you all. Enjoy rest of your evening. Don't worry. By this time next week, we will have a new president. On that note, because no matter what, we're going to have a new president.
Right.
And but yeah, I hope you all have a blessed evening. Be safe. And remember, and I'm going to leave it on this. This it's not about whether you vote red or vote blue. We should stop trying to create division. That is one of the struggles that we have in our country right now, is division. And we need to stop the division. We need to bring back what respect is, what love is, what honoring people are. So if you don't agree with a person's vote, it's okay. Some people have taken the time to do more research and understand things. They've educated themselves. It's not about affiliates. I have no problem in admitting to myself and saying, I am not a Democrat, nor am I a Republican. I am an American. I will always vote for the lesser of 2 evils. Because when it comes to politicians, it's all about what can fit their agenda the most.
Right.
But I will stand for what our country has fought for and our rights. And so just because you might disagree with someone, I'm asking you, please still show them respect. Please still show them love. And no matter what, still show them honor. Because at the end of all this, it's all going to change, because at the end of the day, it is about God first. It is about making sure, because He's the king. He's the one ultimately that allows the things to happen. So don't do anything dumb. Don't get upset, causing arguments, causing fights amongst family, friends, social media people, anything like that. You need to understand we all have our right to free will. And that's the great thing about being an American. It is, we are not the only country in this world that has freedom. I want to say there's probably 120 I want to say like 110 out of 126 countries, sovereign countries have freedom. But we get to choose a lot more than what most countries get to choose. So again, respect everyone, love everyone, and treat people how you want to be treated. And so again, looking forward to having you guys on next week, and appreciate you all. And so on that note, we're going to say peace out.